Yo, what's up gamers? How's it going? It's me, your boy Alex, back with another video. And this one you're going to see is going to be about, as the title says, a Genesis tier list. You might be wondering, why am I on the character select screen? And that's because just talking about Genesis weapon in general, like I'm very much a have your Genesis weapon out enjoyer. I love showing off my Jenny weapon. But we were talking about weapons in general on stream. And it got me comparing it to my reg server Jenny, right? The Pathfinder one. And just like a little crab on your hand, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna make a tier list of all the different Jenny weapons, and we're just gonna go through each one by one. A couple classes that can use each version, and then which ones I think are the best, and which ones I think kind of suck. Starting with that, it's the only correct choice you should ever make when thinking about making a character and getting a Jenny weapon. It's two-handed sword, of course. Two-handed sword's like the best Jenny weapon in the game, IMO. It looks so good. And all of these are going to be, keep in mind, with the aura. So you see the black and red background, because that's going to be there when you liberate your weapon. So just kind of try and imagine that. I couldn't really get that to show up on the tier list, but you know what I mean. But classes that can use a two-handed sword are going to be things like Dawn Warrior, Kaiser. You can use it on a hero to swap to Paladin if you want to, if you're going to dual class, but I wouldn't really recommend that. But yeah, two-handed sword's a really, really good one. Following off that, we have one-handed sword. I think the only class that uses this now is Mihail. Maybe Paladin, I guess. I honestly don't know. But one-handed sword's pretty cool. I like it. Obviously, I'm going to be biased towards the two-handed sword. I think the two-handed sword is way better. Keeping in the terms of two-handed axe. I am not a fan of two-handed axe. I think the big axes in general just look so clunky. But classes that use this are going to be things like hero. But I don't know. I'm not a two-handed axe enjoyer for sure. One-handed axe I kind of do prefer just because it is a little bit smaller. It looks a bit more refined. I think classes like Demon Slayer can use this. But if I had to pick between the two-handed and one-handed, I would definitely put the one-handed on top of the two. For axes. Axes are, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of axes, right? It's the same kind of thing with the maces or the blunt weapons. I don't really know what to call these. But I am really not a fan of the one-handed hammer, dude. I think paladins use these, right? Well, they use the two-handed as well, right? It's the same with the two-hand. I think that the mallets look really silly. I'm not a fan of these weapons at all. Following on from weapons that I'm not a fan on, one that I'm a very big enjoyer of is Genesis Spear. Pretty much the only class that uses this now is Dark Knight, right? But Spear looks absolutely incredible. Spear is a really, really cool one. Especially with the Dark Knight, like, skill palette, all the blacks and reds. The Jenny weapon goes really, really well with it. It's really, really nice. And then this one, the weapon that started this debate was my Pathfinder weapon, the little crab on your hand. We're going to put that in kind of weird, because the PF weapon does redeem itself slightly, because when you attack it gets larger, right? Because ancient bows just get bigger when you attack, so it has a little redeeming feature. But in your idle animation, it just looks so goofy, dude. The bow is pretty sick. The bow is pretty nice. Can I put that in front of the sword? I can. Yeah. The bow is a nice one. It's very, very big. Same sort of thing with the crossbow. I like the fact that the crossbow sits on your back as well. Marksmen are going to be using the crossbow. The crossbow is really, really, really cool. Following on from that, we have the Genesis Claw, which is actually called the Genesis Guard. But we all call it the Oven Mitt. And this one is going straight in the L. So all you Nightlord gamers out there get, you know, Nexon did it to you, not me. Don't blame me, dude. But trying to find, like, but look, I'll explain it. A lot of outfits in Maple are kind of like pastel-y, cutesy, kind of like lovely colors, right? They're very soft. So trying to match an outfit to this really fat black, red, and yellow oven mitt, which like covers up half of your character, it's just so awkward. The same thing kind of happens with the pizza cutter. that thieves use, the dagger, but the pizza cutter is not as egregious as the oven mitt, but the oven mitt is definitely you know, it's a Genesis weapon. Following on from that, we have the Genesis pistol, and again, I'm putting the pistol in L. I mean, classes that usually got like Corsair, Jet used to be able to, Mechanic, but just like it looks so like floppy, you know. I don't quite know how to describe it, but for a pistol, I want like a Desert Eagle, you know what I mean? I want like a fucking massive like pow, pow, instead of this weird like ray gun. You know what I mean? This is the way I see it. Speaking of big guns, the Cannoneer one, or the Cannon Master one, it's up in there and they're pretty nice, dude. I think this one is really, really sick. Especially in your attack animation as well, it's a very cool one. But the fact in your idle animation, they sit on your back, is I'm a big fan of that. I do enjoy those. And then we have keeping with the pirate theme, the Knuckle. Now the Knuckle's a weird one, right? Because I do like the Knuckle, but... do I like it more than... Yeah, I like it more than the pizza cutter, that's for sure. That's for sure. Going in the average. It's just a bit big, right? And it's got that, like... It just looks like a big triangle. But I'll put it in average. We'll see later on, because there's a couple in there that I see that are definitely going in the L. The Demon Avenger one, is probably one of the best ones, right? The Demon Avenger, the Desperado, as it's called, it's very unique in the fact that it's got like a lot of white outlining to it on the like the energy blade kind of thing. So you've got a lot of black, red, yellow, the whites as well. It looks really, really clean. It's probably one of the best ones. Like it's better than the spear, that's for sure. It's really, really good. And then we've got the chain blade, the energy whip thing. This is the Xenon one. The Xenon one is also really, really good. Because a few of the Xenon skills, like they integrate the whip blade that you're using into the skill. So this adds like a black and red like little bit to some of the skills that you do. It's really, really cool. We then have the blaster one, the Elha, whatever it's called. And the blaster one, look, the blaster one looks cool, but it's too big. Like it suffers. I'm actually gonna put it in L. In my opinion, it suffers from the same thing that the oven mitt does, right? Like, look how big it is, dude. It even covers up, like, part of your face, and then most of your, like, body. And then it has that glove on the secondary hand, right? It's just too big. It's just too big. But that's the blaster weapon. The Cadena weapon, the chain. The Cadena one's quite cool. I do enjoy the Cadena one. It has, like, a very nice little accent to it, but... it suffers from that, like, just being kind of a weird-looking weapon. Similar to the Pathfinder. But the chain kind of... Would I put it... I'll put it in... do I like it more than the two-handed axe? No. We'll keep it there. And then this is the... Is this wand or staff? It's one of them. I think this is staff, but they're both going in average, because they're basically the same thing, right? The wand and the staff. It's just a smaller version of the same thing, but the mages will use this. Very simple weapon, just a big red ball at the top. I do kind of like it. Speaking of ones that I like, dual bow guns are very pog. Very, very pog. I do enjoy the dual bow guns. They look so sick. I wish the pistol looked like these more, man. Just cut off the bow part of the dual bow guns. And just take that straight barrel pistol from the middle and give that pistol to the Corsair. It would look so much better. So much better. And then this one is the Phantom Cane. It's kind of weird. It just kind of looks like a discount version of the staff or the wand, right? I don't know. It's not my taste. It's not my taste. But speaking of my taste... Holy Giga Chad, bro. The polearm that Aaron uses. Oh, what a weapon, bro. What a weapon. Probably, like, one of the best looking jennies, if not the best, right, is the polearm. Polearm is so good. Like, by far, easily, polearm is, like, the best looking jenny, actually. It's not even close. It's not even close. And then we have the luminous one. The luminous one is just kind of weird, right? The shining rod. I don't know, I just think Shining Rods in general are just kind of like a weird design. I get why they do it, because you've got that whole like equilibrium, like color changing thing, which is kind of cool. But I'm just not a fan of the Shining Rod, to be honest. And then we have, I believe this is the Ho-Young Ritual Fan, I believe this is. Now this one looks a lot cooler, like in the weapon preview, where it's got like the little red bits at the top of the fan as well. It looks really cool when attacking. The idle animation's just kind of mid though, right? It's the same with the Canna fan. Again, the idle animation is just kind of like awkward, but the fans do look cool, but like the standing still just like really drops them down the tier list for me for sure. And then we have the Lucent Gauntlet, I believe this is, the Ilium one. It's very unique, right? It's got that like little red off flare, which is quite cool. And it's similar with the Kinesis one. The Kinesis one is also in that same boat as the Ilium one. They are like wrist weapons, I guess. But they look cool. I do like them. The Kinesis one especially is like a Rolex, right? It's like a really fancy like Genesis Rolex, bro. Speaking of fancy, we have this one here. You might be thinking, what the hell? That's just a naked character, dude. No, no, no. This is the peak of Genesis fashion. This is the Adele Genesis weapon. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell? There's nothing there? Exactly. And that's the point. Because with fashion, right, all of these weapons have an aura, right? I'll show my Pathfinder again. So this weapon I have, right, when I load in, I'm going to have an aura showing behind me. I'll take off my cape as well. See this red aura? So for my PF, there's no way for me to only have this aura without showing the weapon, right? If I have a like a transparent weapon on, or like a weapon cover, the aura also disappears, right? So Adele is a class that will not show its weapon and have the aura at the same time, just because that's how Adele functions, right? Adele's like a fashionista class. So that's why Adele's the top, because you can just have the aura and make loads of outfits around the aura, which is actually really unique compared to a lot of the other classes, which is very, very cool. And we have the newest addition to the list. These are the Kali Chakrams. I think Chakrams are really, really cool, similar to the dual bowguns. You see, I just like the dual wielding weapons, right? I think they're really, really cool. But Chakrams are a really awesome addition to the Genesis tier list. We then have the Cane one. Now the Cane one is it's alright. I don't know. It's kind of average. When you attack, you see these yellow bits on the end. They extend into like a bow kind of thing, and they like pop off the sides and stuff, which looks cool. But it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. Speaking of not my cup of tea, the Angelic Buster one, dude. Like, what the hell is that? Absolutely massive, like, crab claw coming off your arm, dude. But that's not for me, man. That's not for me. But that's the AB one, right? Some people like it. But then also have the Beast Tamer one. The Beast Tamer one's just kind of mid. It's like a bladed wand at the end. It's kind of cool. It's very unique. And then I do enjoy the Hayato one. The Hayato one's quite nice. The Katana. And then finally we have Zero. Now we have this split into Alpha and Beta. Or Omega. I honestly forgot her name. But the Beta one, just absolutely sick. Massive two-handed, like, Giga Crasher sword, bro. So sick. And then the Alpha one is just... Alpha one's alright. But I much prefer the Beta one. And yeah, that's my my Genesis weapon tier list, bro. This is just purely like a cosmetic tier list, keep in mind. This is why the Adele one is like so high up, right? Would I... Two-handed... Adele... I'd put dual bowguns there. One-handed marksman. Yeah, I mean, that's... Cannoneer probably at the head of those. That looks fine. That looks fine. And then the kind of weird tier. I'd probably put Pathfinder at the end of kind of weird. And then the Oven Mitt is definitely the worst. For sure. So yeah, that's my Genesis weapon tier list. The reason I'm making this is because we've got New Age coming up, right? So if you want to plan to like liberate a character, if you're as much of a fashionista as me, maybe look into what the weapons look like, and see one that you may enjoy the look of. I know it's like a very superficial way to like pick a character, but I'm just gonna do like a bunch of like weird, funny little videos like this. I don't know. But yeah, with that tier list out of the way, I do just want to say a quick thanks to my YouTube channel members. So a quick thanks to Demas. Thank you, Demas. Thank you, Cheese Dog. Thank you very much. Thank you, Grappler Jenkins. Grappler Jenkins. My bad. I'm pretty tired. Thanks to MapleStory Reboot. Thank you, Particle. Thank you, Father Gaming. Thank you, Sir Otter. Thank you, Otter. Thank you very much. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Roland Kukler. And thank you, Mookhouse. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it very much. And thanks to you for watching. If you want to see me do any other like weird, funny, random TXD tier lists, let me know in the comments if there's something that you'd like to see my opinion on. I know this is like a really weird thing. Why would you care about my opinion? But I don't know. A couple of people said I should do a boss mule one, so I might do that. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that, I guess. Otherwise, peace. You know, have a good day. Much love. Have a good time. Bye bye.